A priest in Mexico is in critical condition after being shot while on his way to visit a sick parishioner. Church officials say Father Hector Perez, a parish priest, was shot in what is believed to be a case of mistaken identity. The local bishop made an urgent appeal for blood donors to help Father Hector. The attack in southeastern Mexico is the latest violence against the faithful in the North American country. Late last month, 11 people were killed during a shooting at a festival for the Nativity of John the Baptist. For more, we turn to Jason Poblete, founder of the Global Liberty Alliance. Jason, along with the incidents we mentioned, in May at least 7 people were killed after gunmen targeted a party organized by a local church in central Mexico. Just how many attacks are there on the faithful in Mexico, and what is behind this?
Well, Mark, thank you for having us again. As always, it's fantastic that EWTN focuses a spotlight on these type of cases, as difficult as the subject matter may happen to be. And you're right, in Mexico right now, for your viewers, Mexico is a very divided country as far as it's where it is with the cartels. It's a country that in some cases, experts say, is overrun by and controlled by transnational criminal organizations. And there's several big ones. And this particular incident, by the way, even though they were quick to say that it was accidental, I still think we have to allow the process to invest, if they can even investigate, figure out what exactly happened there, because he may have been caught in the crossfire. He may not have been caught in the crossfire. What happened recently with those 12 or more people who were killed, that was, I believe, a targeted attack on Catholics. May have been a cross, may have not been a cross attack. So I think it's something we're seeing around the world. Pope Leo, a few weeks ago, talked about the attack against our Eastern Orthodox friends in Syria. We're seeing similar incidents in Burkina Faso. We're seeing persecution of Christians around the world. And what's really important about what's happening south of our border is that this is something that impacts us right here. It impacts Americans, and why it's so important that we collaborate, continue working with the Mexican government to the extent we can. That's not very easy to do sometimes when it comes to this issue, and we can talk the whole show about why Mexico welcomes or does not welcome our support in combating transnational criminal organizations like these cartels. But for Catholics and for Christians throughout the region, this is extremely important. The incidence here is much higher in some cases than what we're seeing in the Middle East, but we don't talk a lot about them, and we should. So it's great that EWTN is doing that.
Well, what is being done to keep the faithful safe, and have any church leaders or the president of Mexico addressed this issue?
Well, for the church, it's a very difficult situation, right? Think about this. They're stuck between the sovereign Mexican government and the cartels. Sometimes the bishops have to focus on having difficult conversations with cartel leaders. It's not as if they condone the violence. They don't. They do not condone the crime either. But we have to operate in this environment where we want the Mexican government to do more. But in some cases, this particular president of Mexico, who puts herself out sometimes as a, quote, believer, I do not believe she's a friend of the Catholic Church, even though she puts herself out there as a person who believes in religious freedom. This is somebody who's, some experts believe, she is compromised by cartels. So we need to work close with Mexico. This is a very difficult relationship. We have to come to the defense of these people in the region who need our help. And I think the United States can play a very constructive role in that process. And the U.S. government has been doing this for a long time. And I hope Mexico will do more to protect the Catholic Church from these groups throughout the region.
Let's talk a little bit more about it. Earlier today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke with Mexico's foreign minister. What did they discuss, and do you expect anything to come out of this call?
It appears from what they publicly said about the meeting that they did talk about the violence. It was a very short statement, but I do believe Secretary Rubio, who understands the region, understands Mexico and the importance of Mexico to the United States, will put this up there on a list of priorities of things that we can do together to help combat transnational criminal groups like these cartels. And hopefully Mexico will come around. I can't underscore enough, we're partners here. We should work together. This impacts us on both sides of the border. And by the way, this is a good example of how Americans, we want to welcome people here who come legally. And a lot of times this battle over illegal immigration, we can't bring in people who are being persecuted because we have so many people who are coming in through our borders illegally. So this is a good example of where we can work together to clean up the immigration rolls and help bring people who are being persecuted to our country. That's why they come here. They flee this type of violence, which is, by the way, very violent, something that's happening not just to Catholic priests, but happening to religious of all types in Mexico.
Jason Poblete, founder of Global Liberty Alliance, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.